sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, and some of y'all might find that to be very surprising, but others of you, not so much, because one of the things I've learned during the course of my long and extenuated lifetime is if you set the level of expectation so low that you cannot get below that, then that makes you a success. See, some people have a level of expectation that is way out there. You just take, like, I don't know, some big Olympic champion, right? And they make it all the way to the Olympic Games, and they get to the final thing, and they miss it by a fraction of a second. And they're not a success. But if they'd have never led anyone to believe that they might be a success in that way, they would be a success. So that's what I do. I keep the bar really low. That way I can get across it. Anyway, none of that has anything to do with what I'm going to talk about next. What I'm going to do next is tell you, well, I guess it does in a way. Squirrel. I started out this morning working on the lawnmower. Figured out that I needed to change both the belts. Looked online where you can find some cheap belts and read some of the reviews, and some people were saying that the cheap belts don't work right because they're not high enough quality. So I called the National Auto Parts Association, and guy said he could have me one tomorrow. So I ordered me up a set of belts for the mower. And then I came out here thinking I might cut and start placing that insulation in here, but then I got sidetracked because I walked across this door threshold and all this pieces of metal was sticking up here. So I got my little tacks and my little hammer, and I hammered down that piece of metal right there. And then I got to thinking about if I'm going to put a building of any sort out here. I got 50 amps I'm not even using on that 100 amp breaker over there. And I've got a wire here that I hooked up for in case I needed to run a long extension cord for Bill that I never did use. So what I was thinking I might do is run that wire underneath that building and underneath that building and bring it up over here and have it come up out of the gravel so that when I set my building there, I'll be able to put my breaker box hooked to that. So since that end already has a plug on it, what I'm going to do is leave enough out so that when I get ready to put it in permanent, like, I can wire it inside there. But in the meantime, I can use that little plug if I want to put me a breaker or something out here. So I cut that wire because it was very long, and I cut it down to size. I cut it down to size so that my thinking is I'm going to feed it underneath this building. I'm going to go in right up here at this opening and go under that railroad tie all the way across to here. And then I'll probably drop down in there somewhere, dig a little hole underneath that building and cut across it. And then come out over here where you'll see the good old Georgia red mud sitting on top of the dirt there. That's where it's going to come out. And then once it gets out here, I'll just leave it poking up in the air. I won't plug it in because I don't want to get re-electrocuted. And that should work fine. So that's what I'm doing right now, whether y'all like it or not. And then probably I get that done, I'm just going to leave it sit, and I'm probably go back to that pile of insulation over there and cut me a pattern and start cutting pieces of insulation that can fit up in the top of this building. So that's my plan. That's my whole plan as far as I have it so far. So I wanted to keep y'all apprised of events as they take place here. So you are now apprised. So give yourself a big hug. Tell yourself you love you, even if you don't. And if you don't, get over it. That's all I got to say. Okay? Okay. Love y'all. See you. Bye.